Welcome to the Eurostep Brit podcast.
Game's going to be decided here. Harold spots up, doesn't go, put back is good! Roberto Gallina with a second chance opportunity. Aris lead. Per Gunter for three, got it! Per Gunter, drei Punkte. Cullen, pull up three, no good. Orcus, the offensive board, he turns around and shoots. Got it at the buzzer!
Hi, welcome back to the Eurostep Brit podcast. It's episode 23 and we'll call this one Being Relentless. Gareth Murray is about to embark on his first full season coaching in Slovakia. After his exit from the Caledonia Gladiators, Murray spent the remainder of last season coaching Prievidza. In this episode, we'll talk about his new role and how he's relishing the challenge. We'll also talk about the FIBA Europe Cup and of course look back on the time the Gladiators won the BBL Trophy. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Gareth, welcome to the podcast. Absolutely wonderful to get you on today, talk about your new role in Slovakia. And the first question I have to ask, this new role at Prievidza, how did it all come about?
Obviously, I was not the coach of Caledonia anymore. They removed me from the head coach and they asked me to continue with the club and do the academy. But a friend, colleague, I don't know how to say it, friend for sure now, Matt Hoffer, who's a scout that we worked with Scoutery with Caledonia. I was working with him since I think it was 21-22 season. He is now part of Prievidza as sports director, and he mentioned that they were going to change coach and ask if I was interested in the job. So that's basically how it came about. It was fairly quick. They were in the process of maybe changing the coach. They weren't having to be decided. They saw that I was available, and they made a decision to change the coach. And this is how I got taken on. I'd worked with Matt for, like I said, with the scouting. He worked for Scoutery, his own business he set up. He's been a scout for 20 odd years, working for various teams. And we worked together, bringing in players to Caledonia, Glasgow Rocks at the time it was. We built a good relationship. So he was actually at Glasgow for when we won the trophy final in Glasgow. He was there at the game, attending the game. So we had built a good relationship. So he knew what I was about, and I think he fit the type of coach that Prievidza were looking for.
I got a feeling I might have actually seen him on, I think Jay and Drew did a podcast with him.
Yeah, he was on there.
Yeah, I know who you mean now. So this offer comes along. What was your first thoughts? Because obviously you've played most of your career in the UK. You had a couple of seasons in France.
Yeah.
And you've coached in the UK. What was your thinking when this offer came to go to Slovakia?
At the time, before I was released from Caledonia, my whole thing was about building Caledonia, because I've been to the club for I don't even know how many years, a lot of years, many since 2005, came and gone a few times, then eventually took over as a coach just after COVID. So my whole thing was trying to build up Caledonia to be this big force in British basketball. That was my whole focus. There was never really a thought of leaving there and going to coach abroad or into the European scene. There was never any thought of that, to be honest with you. I'm from here, my family's here. I live 10-15 minutes away from where Caledonia is based now, East Kilbride. So there was never any thought of that. So when it came about, it was okay, it's like a new chapter almost. When I came back from France, it was 2016. I said, right, okay, now I got to think about what am I going to do after I finish playing. So that's when I started getting into the coaching and doing a lot of things across the city, with youth programs and private schools, and coaching Glasgow University. Did the director of the Glasgow Rocks academy. So I started doing things that I knew I needed the skills, I guess, to become a coach and be a leader and organize things. So that's what I started to do after I came back from France. And so it was never a thought about going away again. I never crossed my mind. But then I always had the ambition, when you're a head coach, you're in charge, you want to show your philosophy, you want to lead people. And I felt I felt like I still had that in me, even though I wasn't going to be doing that at Caledonia as the head coach. So the opportunity arose, and I'm like, well, if I don't do it now, when will I do it? The opportunity is right here for me. So that's basically why I just said, right, let's go for it. Let's go for it right now.
Before we get onto that, I'm just going to take a slight tangent there. You obviously getting
Mm-hmm.
into the coaching thing. Now, you would have played
Yeah,
for some pretty decent coaches in your GB days. You would have obviously
yeah.
come up against. Did you reach out to anybody when you wanted to become a coach for advice, or?
I think that's one of the things that maybe I'm missing. Like, I don't really have a mentor. Like, I speak to lots of different coaches that coached me over the years, but I don't like have one single guy that I like reach out to. There's like lots of different people I speak to, and there's not one person. So like speaking to the coaches, like when I started getting like older, I spoke to Nate Rankin. Obviously he was the GB, and he was like, play until you can't play anymore, because he was a player obviously. Then he got into the coach, and the one advice he said was, play till you can't play anymore. So like I kind of stuck with me a little bit as well. Like even when I took over as Glasgow, it was still the player coach, right? So it was never I didn't think it was the time for me to. I want to continue playing, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't want to stop playing, but then the opportunity to be the head coach was like, right, this is what I want to do. So if I don't take it now, when will I get the opportunity again? So I continue what I still want to be. I want to be. I want to be Darius Defoe. I want to still play right now. I want to be 40 years old, still stepping on the court for the team that he like. That was a thing I wanted at the time. But now the coaching thing is something I really enjoy. I still like being around the team and being involved with the team. But now you're the guy that's leading everybody. So there's never wasn't a single person that I actually reach out to. There's lots of different guys like Vincent Levandier. I played for him in France. He came over to Glasgow, obviously. Rob Beveridge as well. I reach out to him sometimes, asking questions. Nate, obviously, I talked about. Sterling Davis. I never really reached out to him, but we spoke a lot over the years when he was a head player coach and then became the coach, and like I kind of knew what the role was and what it was like. So never really reached out to him like recently. But like different, you speak to these coaches over the years, when you're playing as well, right? Because you start to get a little bit older and you start thinking about other things. You're not just focusing on the like the actual basketball. You're focusing after it. What's it like to be a coach? What like little details can they give you? So yeah, lots of different people, not just one.
So you go to Slovakia.
Yeah.
What's your initial thoughts? Because obviously I assume you'd never been there before.
I've never been to Slovakia. I've been to lots of places with GB and
Yeah.
in Scotland and lots of different countries. I've never been to Slovakia before. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I had no clue. I knew a little bit about Slovakian basketball, obviously recruiting, knowing different leagues. You talk to different coaches. Coaches call you and ask about a player that you've had or a player that's played in the British league. So I got some good relationships with different people. And Slovakia being one of the countries that is very relatable in terms of type of players that jump about the leagues. Some guys have gone to Slovakia from UK. Some guys have come from Slovakia to the UK. So it's very relatable in terms of the import players. In terms of Prievidza, there's been some British players that played there. In terms of Paul Guade, I think Legend Roberton was there as well. Nick Levis, who played in Glasgow, and then one that's still playing now, who's like the captain of Sheffield, is Rodney Glasgow. He played there for a couple of years as well. So I kind of knew the team a little bit, and I knew the level. But in terms of like the city and the culture and the how big basketball in Prievidza was, I didn't know the history of it like that at all.
For anyone who doesn't know anything about Prievidza, what's the town and the city like?
So it's a small town in terms of it's about 50,000 people. It was an old mining town. Like they got a lot of history with basketball. It's like the hub of basketball in Slovakia. It's the hub of basketball. Like I said, it's a small town, but most the major sports in Slovakia are football, obviously, and ice hockey. But Prievidza is completely different. Prievidza's number one sport is basketball. Everybody's involved in the basketball. Everybody knows about the basketball. Everybody knows about the basketball team. It kind of rides on the city or the town rides on if you win or lose at the weekend. Everybody's coming out to the games. You're talking average is about 2,500 people. I think the big games they really try to sell it. They played Bilbao right before I arrived, and we had the playoff quarterfinals. There was almost 3,000 people in the arena, so they like really pack it out, and it's an amazing atmosphere. So everybody's behind. Everybody gets behind the team. Everybody's on the wave of the wins and losses in the town, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
It's quite amazing you saying about basketball being number one, because I used to work in ice hockey for many years, and we went through a period where we got so many Czech and Slovak players coming to play in the UK.
Yeah,
because it's a big sport there. And then you're obviously saying basketball is a number one sport there.
in Prievidza, yeah, number one. Like they have a football team, they have an ice hockey team, but basketball is number one in this city, and it's not like that in other places like Trenčín and even Bratislava. Bratislava is still ice hockey and football. That's the main sport. But Prievidza is a basketball city. It's got a good history. I think it's the number one winning team in whole Slovakia. They won the most championships over the years. Their team since 1947. They played in obviously the different leagues, and they played in Europe over the years. Played against like big teams over the course of those years as well. So it's a big history within the club, and I think that's why it's a very proud city of basketball. Like they've got a good culture, they've got a good history, and it's a good place for players to come. And it's a good place to coach as well. Like the city is really nice. It's a tourist place in the summertime. They have a beautiful big castle in Bojanic. So they've got one of the biggest zoos as well in Slovakia. They've got some lovely restaurants. The people are friendly. Like I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I had no clue what to expect. But once I got there, I was like, this place is really nice. It's a nice chilled town. You can go out to eat. You sit outside. It's warm. The culture is like very laid back. So yeah, I really enjoy it there.
Did they throw you straight into the role, or did you get a chance to maybe watch a couple of games, then take over? How did it start for you?
So I kind of knew the team a little bit. I knew some of the players. Like I said, Matt Hoffer was a sports director there. I'd worked with him for a number of years, recruiting players and scouting players. And we worked together. He'd send me guys. We would always have conversations all summer, basically. Like if summertime comes, me and Matt are on the text almost every day. Team text back and forth. What about this player? What about this player? Do you know this guy? Do you know anything about this guy? Character? What? Team hundreds of texts about players. He helped bring in many players for me for Caledonia, like obviously Jordan Johnson, Jordan Harris, Al Durham, Clifton Moore, Patrick Tappe, Jeremiah Bailey. Like all these guys we were working together to bring them to Glasgow or Caledonia. So the summertime we're looking at all the players. We look at everybody. We're looking at all markets. He works for different clubs as well in terms of like scouting for them. Not actually like he helps them scout like he was helping me. He still works for Bamberg. He works for a team in Cyprus. He works for Den Bosch as well. Like so he's involved in the market for across all the markets in professional basketball. So he's good with that. And so I knew some of the players that he'd already recruited for his team for Prievidza. So in terms of, I knew they brought in Mark Loving, CJ Jackson was already there. I knew a couple of other players. Keith Jordan, he was talking to me about for like 3 or 4 years. He's like, no, you need to look at this guy. He's in Ireland second league right now. He's in Iceland second league. He's in Iceland. And now he was with Prievidza last year. I'm not going to tell you where he signed, but he signed a big team for the BCL this year. Like he was telling me about him for 3 or 4 years, you know. So he's in the market, and so we have a good relationship like that. So I knew some of the players. I arrived on, I think it was like Thursday, the 4th of December, something like that. They had played the night before on the 3rd. And in Slovakia, you play on Wednesdays and Saturdays every week throughout the whole season. So I arrived on the Thursday, they played the night before, and then I had a game on the Saturday, and then the Wednesday, and then they had a couple of backlog games because we were playing in Europe as well. So then I arrived, and then we were playing on the Monday, the Wednesday, the Saturday, the Wednesday. Like it was straight to it. It was straight to it. Like I didn't even know everybody's name to start with. Like the first few days, I'm trying to get everybody's names. I'm trying to get to know everybody. It was the first couple of games was rough. So yeah, I basically got thrown right in.
So when you arrived there, where were the team in the standings? What was their sort of record at that point? And what was expected of you when you went in there? What did they ask of you, I should say?
So they had just finished They had just finished the FIBA Europe Cup group stages. They finished with a record of 4-2, but they were unlucky not to get to the second stage. Points difference, it's difficult to get to that second stage. So they had just finished that. The FIBA window had just finished as well, I think. Remember, I think they were 4-6 in the league. So I think the expectations of me was come in and win. That was straight away. That was it. That was the whole mentality of the club, is to win. Like, whatever it takes to win, they need to win games. They need to keep the crowd happy, the fans happy. They need to win games. They want to win a championship at the end of the season. So my task was to come in and win games, try to win a championship. First couple of games we lost. Like I said, I was still trying to learn everybody's name, but then we went on an 8-game winning streak, and we start to feel like good about how we were playing, how the mentality of the team had not changed, but it was like I was trying to push them to work more. I was wanting to work more in the weight room. I was wanting to work more in practice, and I think winning those games at the beginning really helped that build the confidence in what I was trying to do. So went through the season as usual, but lots of games. Wednesday, Saturday. You play all the way through Christmas. You play all the way through, and then you get to the playoffs. We managed to finish 4th in the regular season, and like a lot of European countries, they don't care about where you finish in the season in terms of the standings. You could finish 6th, you could finish 8th. They don't care, but what they care about is winning the championship, winning the playoffs at the end of the season. That's the main goal. So we finished 4th. We got home court advantage against Nitra, who were like a fairly new team in the league. I think it was like the first year they'd had a team previously, then they brought another team in, and they were basically a new team. They were basically a new team that year. So there was a bit of uncertainty about them, but they were a good team. They were solid. We had some good battles with them throughout the course of the season, but we managed to pip them at the end in the last game of the regular season to take the 4th spot. They came 5th, so it was going to be a battle. We knew that. So we basically played them 6 games in a row, 5 for the playoffs, and then obviously the last game of the season. We lost game 5 at home, which was unexpected in how we played throughout the season. We had a very good home record. Like I said, the crowd is out there. Everybody comes to support the team, and we have a very good home record. I think we lost 3 games or 4 games throughout the whole regular season, and then we lost 2 in the playoffs, which is like it's not how you're going to win the best of 5 series if you lose 2 home games. So we lost the game 5 by 3 points, and that basically put us out of the playoffs. So that was a bit disappointing from where we were as what we thought of expectations as a team, as players, and also management as well, and the fans. Like we wanted to get to that final. We wanted to get to the semi-final obviously first, and then we wanted to get to the final. We wanted to make that playoff final, but so we came up short. Basically, we came up short. Wasn't where we wanted to finish. So yeah, the whole thing was to win, basically. Win games.
It's a disappointing end to the season for you, but
yeah.
If you just ignore that bit, how was the experience for you, your first season coaching abroad in a new country?
It was good. Like I said, I'd played for the national team and been in the different countries and played with the big crowds and all this, but to actually coach, and you didn't really know the ins and outs and the intricate things about a different team. Like that was a kind of good thing. Like coaching in the British League, like you know everything. You know the players, you know the coach, you know the style of play, you know everything. Obviously been around it for so many years, but then you go to a new league where you don't really know the local guys, you don't know the coach, you're just going by what you see from the scout of the team you're coming up against, which was like, it was refreshing almost. Like it was never like there was nothing predetermined in my brain about okay, it's okay, we're playing this team, they're not going to be that good or whatever, it was all just like right there fresh in front of me. So I think that was kind of exciting. I had some good assistant coaches that like told me about the history of the team, how they played against them last time, like all the different scouting reports and all this type of things ready to play them. But it was fun. It was getting to go to new towns, new cities, new teams, different styles of play as well. Like the British League, we know is very like up and down. It's good athletes. Sometimes it's good structure, sometimes it's not. Whereas like the Slovakian league is a bit more structure, I would say. It's not as up and down. They like to play a little bit more half court, like the typical European type of way of basketball, half court, running their sets, looking for certain options. So it was good. You could make adjustments. You could change your defenses quite regular. And that was something I always liked doing. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
What's the import limit on the Slovakian league?
So last year it was 5, and it was five imports from anywhere. This year they increased it to 6. Again, you can have 6 imports from anywhere, and then you have your obviously your Slovak local guys. I think from what they've told me and what I've watched over the last couple of years, the league has really, really grown and really taken to another level. Last year there was like maybe 5 or 6 teams that could really compete for the championship. The years before that, it was like 1, maybe 2. Levis has like been the top team. They won the league. They won the championship 4 years in a row. Like they have been the number one. They played in the BCL qualifiers, FIBA Europe Cup. They've been the standard team for the last 5-6 years. Like no one was really competing with them. There'd be a couple of games, but they were dominating basically. Whereas last year, I think it was a bit more even. The level of the league really took a big jump last year. And I think it's going to take another big jump this year with the increase of 6 imports. And they've got, last year they had 2 teams in EMBL. You had Inter Bratislava, you had Spiska, both of them played EMBL, and you had Levis, who played BCL qualifiers and dropped to FIBA Europe Cup, and then Prievidza, who played the FIBA Europe Cup qualifiers and qualified and got into the group stages. So there's 4 teams that are playing in Europe this year. I think there's 3. Inter are back in EMBL as FIBA Europe Cup qualifiers, and Levis playing BCL qualifiers. So the level is good. The import is a good standard. I would say it's similar standard to the British League. Maybe you've got a couple more guys that are a bit more established, maybe not just rookies. I think the British League has a lot of rookies, a few established guys, obviously, but with the Levis playing in BCL, they're bringing in a couple of higher level guys, and like this year for us for Prievidza, we've brought in some good high level quality players with our recruitment. Inter the same thing, so they have guys that drafted in the NBA a couple of years ago. So like the level has definitely increased.
As soon as the season ended, you knew you were coming back this year, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did basically the recruitment start then?
Recruitment started in the middle of the season. Right. We started, like I signed an 18 month contract, and the Slovakian market is kind of small for the amount of players there is, and it's difficult to get them. Everybody wants them, so, and it's difficult for some of them that are away to bring them back to Slovakia. So we kind of started pretty early, like thinking about who we wanted to bring in for the season, the season after, or this season, sorry. So we signed a guy, I think it was February. We signed David Novak. He was in Slavia Prague, and he played for Embark for 4 or 5 years before that. And he was a young prospect, Slovakian prospect that played over there. So we signed him fairly early. So in terms of the imports, now we started after the season. We identified like the type of player, the type of characteristics, the profile of the imports that we wanted. But we worked on the Slovakian players first. That was our main focus for probably 2-3 months. Like what Slovakian players can we get, and then we start to work with the imports.
Sorry, what's the junior setup like in Slovakia? Did you have like a junior team able to produce players for the first?
So it's very good, to be honest with you. I'm really impressed with it. Like I said, Prievidza is like a small town, but they have a full system. They have a full pathway from. They work in all the schools now, even more in the schools. They have a program. I think the earliest actual proper program they have is under 10s, and they go under 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, 18s, 20s. Last year they had a B team as well, which some of the guys that played didn't get big minutes for the pro team. And some of the under 20 academy guys made a team, and some of the older guys that kind of retired, they had a B team as well that were playing in the second league. This year we decided not to put the B team in just because we don't have enough players in both groups. So they have a full pathway at everyone. So it's a proper full structure throughout, and a lot of teams in Slovakia have the same. They have the full pathway, and the 18s and 20s, they play 2 games a week, and then they have a week off, and then they play 2 games a week. So they're playing a lot of games. They're getting practicing every single day. They have kids not just from Prievidza. They're bringing kids from other places, smaller towns around, or they're traveling and living in Prievidza. So it's a full pathway.
So obviously you've been working on the roster. How close are you to your finalised roster for next season? Because obviously that's coming around late September.
Yeah, we completed the roster about a week ago now. A week ago, the last 2 positions we were waiting for was a point guard and a 5-man. They've both not been announced yet, but we managed to finish. They were about a week ago. We finished that. The rest of the guys have been announced. I think we went for, like I said, at the beginning of the summer we talked about like what profile of the players do we want, like what in terms of characteristics of mentality, like how professional are they, what skills do they have. Like we were trying to put a full profile of each player. And like I said, we did get 6 imports. And we tried to put a profile of each position, what we needed, how the type of personality we wanted, the type of mentality, type of body as well. I think that's part of the characteristic of the player. Like what skills did they have? Were they strong? Were they fast? Were they mainly a defender? You have to make sacrifices when you're recruiting, right? You can't get the full package on everybody. You have to make sacrifices, but certain things we were writing down, like, no, we can't sacrifice on that. We can't sacrifice on what type of player we really wanted. I guess is what I'm trying to say, is like we knew the profiles of what we wanted, and that was the start of it. And it was more of a defensive team. It's more of a hungry, younger, hard-working team that I wanted to put together, and myself and Matt, we wanted to put together. Guys that were like wanting an opportunity almost, but some of them have already proved themselves in other leagues. But it was more like guys that were like, they want to work. They want to come into practice every day. They want to be in the gym. They want to lift weights. They want to get their bodies right. They want guys that want to look forward to going to practice. That's the type of mentality we were looking for. And it was more of a defensive, athletic, strong type of players we were looking for, and that's going to fit the style of basketball that I wanted to play. Like I'm never like stuck in I want to play this certain way, but it was like, okay, what's going to be successful? How are we going to be successful in the Slovakian league? And that was my main focus. It wasn't really about Europe. It wasn't about how are we going to win the championship at the end of the season. That's what I'm thinking about. I think previously when I was at Caledonia, I was thinking about, okay, how are we going to be good in Europe? How are we going to be good in the British League? And I kind of got lost in trying to be successful in Europe. And like reality was we were never going to win Europe, but I didn't want to. It was like the first time Caledonia had been in Europe, and for a British team to play in Europe, you want to like be successful. You know, I didn't want to go in there and lose every game. So I was kind of like focusing on that a little bit, maybe too much, rather than what's going to be successful to win in the British League. I think that's something I learned. So yeah, when I'm building the team right now, I was thinking about, okay, what's going to be successful to win the Slovakian league at the end of the season. That's basically what I was thinking about, and what characteristics do the players need, because we have to work with each other every single day for 9-10 months. So what type of personalities do I want? So yeah, that was the focus. I think I'm pretty happy with the team. Like, let's see what it's like in a couple of months, but I'm pretty happy with the team I've put together now. They're young, they're hungry, they're athletic, they're strong, they're good characters, they're good people. Like I spoke to them all on the phone. We had umpteen phone calls, talking to them, talking to people that they know, people that we know that know them. Like we've done a lot of background check to make sure we've got the right people, and I think me and Matt have done a good job on that.
There's no point asking about the FIBA Europe Cup then later.
You could ask about it for sure, but like my focus, like I think I made that mistake before. Like FIBA Europe Cup obviously is important, and I think not. Like I think when I was at Caledonia, I was chasing like I need a big team that's strong and they can match up with guys in Europe. But then that kind of lost what was successful in the British League. Like you need quick, athletic, strong players in the British League, which doesn't always translate well. But now I kind of got lost a little bit with that. So now my focus is like, okay, what's going to be good and what's going to be successful in Slovakian league? What do we need to win that? But also using the strength like that. That is a strength. That's a strength. Like getting quick, strong, athletic guys is going to be a strength. That's the type of players we attract to Slovakia. It's going to be a strength in Europe as well. I think I got away from that.
Yeah, no, you talk to coaches sometimes, and the key to becoming a great coach is learning to get that squad that can compete on the European front and a domestic front seamlessly. Mm-hmm. Of course, a new season to look forward to, Gareth, and you've got experience of FIBA Europe Cup back with the Gladiators. You've got some qualifiers coming up in September.
Yes.
It's the Croatian side, Sabona?
Sabona, yeah, that's it. No.
While we're on FIBA Europe Cup, we can't talk about FIBA Europe Cup without talking about your experiences with the Gladiators, which you've touched on just a few moments ago. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I loved about that was, even though you didn't make it to the second round either time, you got yourself some big wins in there. I mean, obviously there was the Anvil win in the first season, and you beat Ludwigsburg, because obviously German BBL is a pretty decent league. But what are your memories of those two seasons in FIBA Europe Cup?
I think there was a, like I think I mentioned it before. Like I was really like hoping to, like, London were playing in Euro Cup obviously, and we were doing the FIBA Europe Cup. I wanted to go in there and not show, like, embarrass ourselves basically, and not have a bad showing of ourselves. And I think that was part of how I was trying to recruit as well, to get a team that would do well in Europe, because I was trying to help British basketball. That was in my mind. Obviously, I was trying to help the Caledonia Gladiators, like, the first time in Europe, and I was trying to help British basketball. And I was like, I didn't want to go in there and lose a game. So it was a big focus on for me on that. The very first game we had was in Romania against Sibiu. Like an amazing atmosphere, even though it's like not a huge team in Romania, but the atmosphere was amazing. It was like our first experience. We did the BCL qualifiers already in Turkey, which there was nobody there. There's nobody at the game, but this is like our first real taste of basketball outside of the UK, where there's like a proper fan base and people were there cheering their team on, and we managed to get our first win in Europe was in Sibiu. So that was like an amazing feeling to start with. Like, nobody expected us to win a game. For us to go in our first game away from home and beat Sibiu, that was like amazing to start. And then to come back and then play Anvil at home, like they won the FIBA Europe Cup the year before. Like this big top team in Poland. We know the Polish league is a strong league. It's physical. It's some big names in it. Like, so for them to come to Glasgow, to East Kilbride, I guess, and for us to beat them in a low scoring game, like, again, we're like, okay, we're sitting 2-0 in our first European campaign. Like, that was exciting. And like I said, beating Animal was a huge win. Like, it's a big club compared to what we're talking about, first time in Europe for Caledonia. So it was fun. It was exciting. And then we got the reality check and went to Bilbao. It was like a completely different level. Like, we played I remember the first half in Bilbao. We were only down, I think it was like 6 or 8 points, but we had played terrible. And I was kind of mad. Like, my expectations had risen a little bit, like, because we were obviously sitting 2-0. We go to Bilbao. We're not playing amazing. We missed a lot of open shots. We missed a couple of rotations on defense, and like, we're only down like 6 points. So I'm kind of mad going into halftime. Like, guys, come on! we can give a little bit more, and we can keep this game close, and maybe we don't win it, but at least we show respect to ourselves. This is what's in my mind, and a little bit of conversations with the guys. And then the second half, they absolutely destroyed us. Like it was like a different game of basketball. I'm like, what just happened? Like the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, I'm like, okay, so they just switched on, and it was game over. And I think they ended up beating us by like, I don't even know, 40, 50, something like that. I was like, okay, reality check. We're playing against ACB team in Spain who get to play like I'm doing the scout, and they're playing Real Madrid and Barcelona. Like we're watching clips from the weekend of them playing against these guys, and so that was a bit of a reality check on that. So no, but it was the overall experience was. I really enjoyed it, and that was exciting because you've obviously been in the British League for a long time. You're playing against the same teams every week, and then you get a little bit of getting to play in Europe. Like it's huge. It was huge for me. I really liked it.
No, I thought even though you guys didn't qualify, I just felt you did really well because that first season for me was a great season for British basketball because you were doing well, Bristol Flyers, Newcastle Eagles doing well, London Lions doing well, and I just felt, hang on a minute, there's actually some momentum here, and of course it all come to an end at some point. But you got, like I said, you got to play Bilbao, and then last season, you come up against a strong French side in Dijon.
Oh, yeah, that was
that
was another level, right? We played Ludwigsburg obviously as well. We went to Ludwigsburg, and like this, like you play these different countries, and this is what sometimes like you play these different countries or even different teams within the country. They have different styles of basketball. They're not all the same style of basketball. You think European basketball, it's all the same style. It's not. It's all different. Like, Ludwigsburg were not the same as a Trepka from Kosovo or even a Dijon. Dijon were like super, super talented, athletic, like firepower and scoring. Whereas like a Ludwigsburg was like just straight physical battle, grabbing, holding, fighting, like every possession, every single like. And I like looking at the guys that are like just wore down, when you're playing a Ludwigsburg. So you go over and you go to Germany and you're playing this team that's just relentless, boom, boom, just fighting you all the time. You just wore down from it. And then you play a Dijon, and it's just like the ball is zipping. There's so much offensive weapons. Like who do you try and stop? It's like different. This is where it's like a different style of basketball. Whereas then the Bilbao we talked about, who was like everything. They had the full everything. They had the physicality, they had the tactics, they had the firepower. It was just like a different level. And then you play against a Trepka who was like very, very similar level to us. They had 5 or 6 imports, Americans. Like they're putting a team together in the summertime. They're not like the long structure of like a team that's based over 3-4 years. So it's like the different styles of basketballs were exciting to play against. And like I said, Dijon were another level. I think they made it to the semi-finals that year. Ludwigsburg were quarterfinals, I think. So. It was a big win. Ludwigsburg in East Kilbride, again a team. We were down by 17 points. I think first half we were down 17, and then to come back and win. Patrick Whelan was huge, making huge shots at the end for us to win the game. But again, no one's expecting a British team to beat these big clubs, So I think that was important for British basketball. Also, it was important for us, but I thought overall for British basketball, like you mentioned. And teams can now, or agents and clubs and coaches can now compare. Like if you're not playing in Europe, it's difficult for the British League to get some recognition because they're not playing against other European clubs. They don't know. There's no comparison. I think now that's completely changed with these teams playing in Europe. You can see the comparison. Okay, he's at this level. Okay, he's not at this level. Okay, he's playing against this guy. We played against this guy last week. We know the level that. Teams know the level of the British League now. It's easier for them to get recruited from the British League to go to these other countries. I think that's the biggest thing that's happened.
Just one final question on that. Obviously, you mentioned about obviously when you're in the British League, you're playing the same teams, or even in this case now, Slovakia, you're playing the same teams all season long. Did you enjoy that challenge of getting yourself prepared to play against a brand new team you've never seen before in your life?
100%, because there was you could see the different tactics going on. Like, no knock against the British League, but you kind of know over the years, like, okay, this coach likes to play like this, or this coach likes to play like this, or this is the type of players that these teams have. So you kind of know. Whereas, like, I know the kind of style of a Polish league, or I know the style of ACD, or I know like the style, but each team has their different type of philosophy as well. So I didn't know that because I wasn't playing against it every week. So it's exciting to and you take some actions from them as well, like some offensive sets or some defensive things. When you're doing the scouting report, you're looking. I was like, hey, that's really good. Maybe we can add that to, like, that fits what we're trying to do as well. Maybe we can add that, or this defensive rotation that we kind of worked on a little bit, but no, here's them really executing it, and here's some little details that we can take from that to show some video to help us to do that type of tactic as well, So I think there's lots of different aspects. It was exciting to see the different tactics that teams were using for different teams they were playing against week in, week out, So I enjoyed that part of it. I think I took a lot from that.
I'm just wondering, sort of taking on a tangent, where that helped you last season coming into Prievidza, the fact that other coaches wouldn't know you.
Yeah, that was also a benefit. Yeah, exactly. That was also a benefit as well. Like, when I first got to Prievidza, I kind of left everything where it was, right? Like I said, I got there on the Thursday, and we had another game on the Saturday, and then another game on the Wednesday, and then it was like game after game. So, like, probably the first maybe 3 to 4 weeks, I didn't change anything they were doing. All I did was, when I arrived, I just, like, kind of ramped up the intensity in practice. That was it. Like, the tactics and the plays and all this type of stuff was very similar. And then I started gradually, as the season went on. As soon as we had a little bit more time to practice, I started to adjust and put my type of, I guess, my stamp on, like, how I wanted to play, and change some sets. But we still had very similar sets. Or we would change the defenses. Like, when I first arrived, they were icing on the side, on the ball screen on the sides, and I wasn't really a big fan of icing ball screens. Like, so I took that out and changed the ball screen coverages in different situations. So yeah, no, it definitely was an advantage to start with, because nobody really knew how I liked to play.
And obviously you've got lots of imports on the team. Was any language barrier issues, or?
No, none at all. Everybody speaks English. We have a very, like, international staff, and obviously the players. We got our S&C coach was Spanish. He's actually moved on. He went to Mexico now, and so we recruited another Spanish S&C. He's from Madrid, so I'll be working with him for the first time. We'll meet him next week. My assistant coach is from Slovakia. I have a skills coach as well. He is from America. The sports director, Matt Hoffer, is German. We have an academy coach who's Greek. So it's a very international staff, and all the players speak English, and the Slovakian players also, all the management speak English. So there's no language barrier or nothing, no issues with that at all.
And then just finally on Prievidza, you obviously got your squad together. You got a couple more to announce soon. Season starts at the end of September.
Yep.
When do the team start coming in to get ready for next season?
So we're going to start on the 6th of August. Players will arrive the 3rd or 4th of August, and we'll start on the 6th of August. Pre-season's about 6 or 7 weeks. We've got like seven pre-season games, 7, maybe 8 pre-season games before we play our first qualifiers on the 24th of September. And then the domestic league will start on the 4th of October. So yeah, we've got about a week until we start, just over a week until we start. A good pre-season, I think. Last couple of years I had about 6 weeks, 7 week pre-season as well, and I liked that. I enjoyed that. We got a couple of trips to play some different teams and different, again, like trying to understand the different style of basketball, playing against different tactics, different way of playing. Like I said, I enjoy that. I enjoy that the most. Like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of some little documentaries, and the clinics and all that they put on YouTube now, which is amazing. You don't actually have to go to the country and be in the actual facility and watch it. You can go on YouTube and all the clinics are there, which is amazing. So I like to watch a lot of those things, and it's good to see the different styles. And like some things, like I really try to push, and like I think all coaches kind of steal things from other people.
I do.
Like I was listening to how do I say his name again? Francesco Tebellini, is that how you say it? The guy that was in Embark and he just went to Paris. Listening to his podcast the other day, and he was like talking about things that I've been talking about as well. It's like, okay, we were talking about similar things, but it's more about how do we emphasize that? How much do we emphasize that? Like we're talking about, I've been thinking about a word all summer, like to show and explain or describe how we want to be and how we want to. And he was already talking about it last year, you know. So like he's talking about relentless. Like he wants his team to be relentless, and like I was saying that to us, like we need to have energy, we need activity, we need to be relentless. And he was already talking about that last year, you know, with his team at Nürnberg. And so like kind of like steal things from different coaches and or steal. Everybody steals things, but you know what I mean. But you take things from other coaches. You never have. Everyone has their own little ideas of how they want to play, and it's like the vision they have. And so that was one thing when I was listening to his podcast the other day. I'm like, okay, that's what I was talking about that last year as well. But now, do I have to be more emphasis on that every single day? Like, let's be relentless. Is there a word to describe how we want to be? And he described it perfectly. Like, just relentless every single day. Everything we do, got to be relentless.
I think I've got a title for this episode now. But if obviously he's gone to Paris, then does that mean you're almost EuroLeague ready yourself, Gareth?
No, not yet, not yet. No, I would love to, but no, that's obviously, like I said before, like my aspirations before were like to be home and help Caledonia Gladiators grow, and obviously that never continued. So now I kind of have a new lease now. Like I'm like, okay, I'm in Prievidza. Like I really like the city. I really like the club. I want to help the club grow and again be successful. Like this is my new challenge, I guess, is like to be part of that. Like I really like it over there. I like the vision. Like they got a new owner as well. I like the vision that he has on it, and we have a lot of similarities and things that we see. Matt Hoffer and me worked together for a number of years, so we all have the similar idea. We're all going in the same direction. We all have the same ideas of what we want of the club and the style of basketball we want to play. So I think that's very important. We're all going in the same direction, which is good. And see where it goes from there. Like I never really thought about year after year. It was all about, okay, I'm in this moment. I'm in this moment right now, and this is what's in front of me. This is the challenge. This is the goal. This is what I want to get to, and then see what happens after that. Like never really was chasing anything. Never chasing anything really. Like I'm not saying, oh, I want to be in the EuroLeague, or I want to get to the NBA, or I want to get to another team, or I want to get to this. I never really had that. I just see what happens. Do your best job, do your work, and be good at where you are right now. Like just be good. Like I'm not like I love basketball. I love basketball. I love being around basketball. I love coaching. I love being around people that are playing. Like I volunteer myself. Like for instance, Darryl Wood, who's one of my assistant coaches at Caledonia's academy coach. He was working with the under 15, under 17 Scotland this past year. Yeah, they're the four countries or 4 nations or whatever they want to call it. And he was looking for an assistant coach. And I said, I'll help out with under 15s. I'll come and help you. And it was like 3 days. It wasn't a big thing for me, but I was like, I wanted to be around it. I wanted to take that trip to go to Manchester and be with the under 15s and be the assistant coach. And like, I just love being around basketball.
I gotta admit, it's actually Darryl gave me the idea inadvertently to get you on the podcast at some point, because I was doing a commentary and I was just chatting to him saying, oh, have you spoke to Gareth? How's he getting on? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And, obviously speaking very glowingly about you. And I came away thinking, you know what? I've got to get Mr. Murray on the podcast at some point. We spoke before we came on air. One of the things I really want to see is it's great seeing players from the UK doing well in Europe, but it'd be nice to have coaches coming from the UK and doing well in Europe as well. And that's why I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
And,
no, I kind of, even when I got to Prievidza, even the fans and all that, like, who's this guy? Who's this guy from Scotland? What does he know about basketball? What does he know about coaching? Like, it was almost that. What's that TV show? The guy that's the football coach comes to
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. That's basically what they were calling me. Like, who's Ted Lasso? What's he doing here? What does he know about basketball? He's from Scotland. I know nothing about basketball in Scotland. Like that's what it was like. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what it was like. So no, it's like I want to like help British basketball, obviously, but like I want to have a good showing for myself as well. Like I like coaching is like there's lots of different things that go into coaching. It's not just like X's and O's and your technical and tactical. There's so many different things that go into coaching. Yeah, a coach is supposed to know so many things, right? He's supposed to be so good at so many things. I read the book, and this is Alan Keane that gave me this. Like when I first started coaching, the Cody Royal. I don't know if you know it, the tough stuff. That's the name of the book, and it's basically like all these different things that happen as a basketball coach. And all the things they're supposed to know, and everybody knows everything, and the coach knows nothing, and I like these type of things. Like, but I'm motivated in myself to be successful. I don't really listen to the outside noise or any of that. I just try to do the best job that I can do, and like I'm not perfect. Like I don't know everything, but what I do know, I try to show and influence people to show a vision of what I want to do and what I want the team to play like. And there's lots of different styles of coaching.
It would be a mistake of me not to talk about your past career up until now in this podcast, but I do want to ask you one last thing. Just out of interest, obviously people want to follow you. Do you know if your games are streamed anywhere that people could watch?
There is streamed. Every game is streamed, and it's on JOJ Sport. There is a link. It's free. You can watch it. Like I could maybe post it one time, and everybody can watch the games. But it's free, and every game is live streamed.
I just know when Vince went to Germany last season, people wanted to watch his games. I figured, well, maybe they can come and watch your games as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a link. That's all free. It's not YouTube, but obviously the FIBA Europe Cup games will be on YouTube. But the regular season games, there's a website that they're all on there for free.
No, I'll make sure see if we can publicise that for you at some point.
For sure.
I know Caledonia is now in your past, but we have to talk about a certain day in Caledonia Gladiators history, a BBL Trophy final, where you helped end a long streak of not winning anything for the franchise, going back to the Rocks days.
Yeah.
What are your memories of that afternoon?
Lots of different aspects of that day. Obviously, as a player, I was in many finals with Glasgow Rocks, and unfortunately, we never won any of those. And I think that was the hardest thing over the years. Like we were so close so many times, and like other teams, like for instance, Newcastle were just winning. Then it became Leicester winning. Then you have like one random team come in, like Worcester, a couple of years, and then London came back and they started winning everything. And then it was just like, can we not just win one? Like over the years, just like we always end up facing the best team that year, or like one random team. For instance, like Worcester, we made the trophy final, and with Worcester and Zaire Taylor was on it, Awumi, and what was his name? Creekmore, was that his name?
Will Creekmore, yeah.
Will Creekmore, yeah, he was on the team. Like they were probably the one. I don't think they won the league that year. They might have, but I can't remember. We ended up getting the best team in the final. I'm like,
they won the double that year. They won the trophy and they won the playoffs.
Yeah, so like we always end up facing like the best team in the final every year, and I'm like, oh come on, can we not just get can two like I'd say average teams make the final and maybe we can beat them? But it always ended up being the best team. Newcastle, where most of the time was that team, and then it became London. Like we lose to London in the final, So that was as a player, that was like probably the most disappointing thing. Like you could never get over the line as a player to win a trophy, and all the years trying, but then to become, and I think it was set up perfectly. I retired from the player coach job to be a first time really proper coaching without putting the jersey on, to be in Glasgow. To face Cheshire, who won it the year before, like they were going for the back-to-back trophy wins. So I think it was set up perfectly for that. The thing that I had on my mind was, okay, this is your opportunity right now. This is your opportunity. Like it's set up perfectly for you. Don't screw it up. don't screw it up. So it was more about the nerves. I knew the players were going to do what they do. They didn't really have that. I knew they were going to come out and play. Like the players I had that year, they were young. They were similar to what I'm putting together now. They were young, hungry guys with talent, but not huge amount of experience. So I knew they were going to do it. For me, it was more about, okay, don't screw up this opportunity. You got everybody here. Lots of people come to the game. This is your one chance to win a trophy for the club. And then to win in the fashion that we did win, like it was, everybody kept it was like a fairy tale ending, like it went on the buzzer, David Sloan, corner three. It was amazing feeling. And we were doing the documentary at the same time. So like we were getting filmed for the whole season. The whole season we were getting filmed, cameras on us all the time. For them to actually, for us to win a trophy and that would be on the documentary as well. So the whole thing was just perfect for me.
Do you remember at all what you were thinking when that ball went to Sloan in the corner?
What was I thinking at the moment? So the first thought was like, we run this play. This was like a normal play, like a transition play. Like we run out of it. It was nothing like some fancy, intricate play or nothing like this. So we set up. I just kind of knew, for instance, I know Jamel Anderson was guarding David Sloan. He was going to deny him the ball. So like I've tried to put people in the right positions to know what they were going to do before it happened, almost like. So I knew Jamel Anderson was going to deny David Sloan. That's why he made him flash up, and then Jeremiah Bailey to flash and throw the ball, and then tell him to put it through his legs. But I told him to backdoor cut, so Sloan can either finish at the rim or he can kick it out because defense is going to collapse. For then Prince to make the extra pass, like in that dying seconds, like usually as a player you're like, I want to be the hero, but for him to be like, take that one dribble to attack to make the defense collapse again, to kick with the little time on the clock to make the pass to Sloan. And Sloan, he made big shots. He was a scorer. Maybe that year he wasn't like a great 3-point percentage, but he was a shooter. He could make shots, and like it was this perfect scenario for him with his feet set in the corner wide open to win the game. Like he was good for those moments. That didn't worry me about, this is going to go in or it's not going to win. Like as soon as he made the pass, I'm like, oh, this is in. No worry. Like I wasn't like hesitant or I wasn't worried or nothing like that. So for him to make it, it's like final ending, like amazing fairy tale, like you said. It was great.
I consider it among one of the great moments of what was the BBL era. Mm-hmm. I was watching the footage, Dan Ratledge on the call, brilliant. One of my memories of it is Kieran Chara on the baseline getting all excited because obviously he's been through it with you in the trenches over the years, coming up, not able to win it. And then just his reactions as well, because I think he was doing TV stuff that day.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. But I have to ask you, how many times have you watched that back since?
I've watched it quite a few, and I send it to David Sloan every now and again. I still talk to these guys, right? Like David Sloan was playing in Brazil this year. I'll message him every now and again, asking how he's doing, or he'll message me or whatever, and I'll just send him that link, and I'll just say thank you. And I'll just send him that, or like watched it a few times.
And in terms of your career, because obviously you had a great career for GB. You also played for Scotland. You played Cheshire. You went in France. Where does that moment, through your playing and coaching career, where does that moment stand for you?
It's got to be up there for sure, because like we won. Like didn't win anything else in my time. That's got to be one of them. Beating England in the Commonwealth Games and beating Nigeria to get to the medal rounds in the Commonwealth Games 2018. That was one of them as well. Playing for GB over the years was like a huge thing for me. Like I didn't make the team till I was like 28, 29 years old, like once they had that like almost like new era, I guess, or after the 2012 Olympics. When they changed the coaches and they changed like a lot of the older guys retired after the Olympics, they start to move on to Joe Prunty took over, like that was making the national team, making Great Britain was big for me. And playing in Eurobasket, the first Eurobasket, 2013 in Slovenia was good, but it was like, even though I was like 28, 29, I was still naive. I didn't really know. I hadn't been at that level, right? I hadn't practiced, or hadn't been every day practicing with these guys like at this level in European basketball. And I think that's something I really not, I don't know if regret is the word, but I really wish it had happened, that I could go to play in Europe and practice at this level every single day. Like playing in the UK, obviously at that time, that type of era wasn't like the strongest time of the British Basketball League. So that's something I like really wish it could happen. But playing in these big tournaments, and then Eurobasket 2017 was like, that's just the one when I was like, okay, now I'm playing. This is me actually playing now. Like, I actually understand the game. I understand how to play. I know the level of intensity. I was just maybe a little bit too old, But I got the opportunity, starting, playing big minutes, playing against Serbia, Russia, Latvia, Belgium. Like, we're playing against big countries.
Yeah.
3 of those, I think 2 or 3 of those teams made the Final Four in our group. Like, it's against like the top teams, So like it was huge for me to play in these type of tournaments. And I always enjoyed those trips, or those windows, or the summertime. That was like the best enjoyment for me, because you get to hang out with guys that are playing at that level every week. You can feel yourself improving. You've got the coaches around you who are really like pushing you to be successful and helping you to grow. And just that's what I probably learned the most about basketball in general, like how to play, the type of intensity you have to play at, the mentality, the X's and O's. That's what I learned the most.
Right. Well, I think that's a good point to bring the podcast to a close, Gareth. It's been absolutely fantastic to get you on today. I wish you all the best this season in Slovakia. A lot of people obviously hoping the same, that you're very successful. Good luck in the FIBA Europe Cup qualifiers, and let's hope for a nice challenge in the Slovakian league. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. Hope I didn't ramble on too much about some things, but no, I enjoyed it. Once I get talking, I can just talk about anything, So hopefully some people enjoyed it and took something from it. And thanks very much for having me.
We'll have to get you back on again then and let you talk. Thanks, Gareth.
No, thank you.
And finally, if you're enjoying what we do, please make sure to like, subscribe, or even share the pod on your social media. Every little bit of support helps. Until next time, my name's Niall Gray. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Eurostep Brit podcast, a hoops and hockey production.